You're sitting there right now thinking about all your problems, the bills piling up, the promotion you didn't get, the relationship that fell apart, the business that failed, and you're waiting for someone to care, to understand, to validate your struggles. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Nobody cares about your struggles, not your neighbors, not your co-workers, not even your family, at least not in the way you think they should. Now, before you get defensive or feel hurt, understand this isn't about being cruel. This is about waking up to one of life's most powerful truths. The world doesn't owe you sympathy. It doesn't owe you understanding. And it certainly doesn't owe you success. You see, everyone, every single person in this room and beyond is fighting their own battles. They're all carrying their own heavy loads. They're all trying to figure out their own path. And while they might nod sympathetically when you tell them about your problems, deep down, they're thinking about their own struggles. But here's where it gets interesting. This truth, this seemingly harsh reality, is actually the key to your liberation. The moment you truly understand that nobody cares about your struggles is the moment you become free. Free from seeking validation. Free from waiting for permission. Free from expecting others to solve your problem. Think about the last time you achieved something significant. Did you do it because others cared about your struggles? No. You did it because you decided to take action. You did it because you stopped waiting for someone to rescue you and became your own hero. The most successful people in any field aren't the ones who had the fewest struggles. They're the ones who stopped talking about their struggles and started focusing on solutions. They're the ones who understood that while everyone else was busy complaining about the rain, they could be building an ark. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend talking about your problems? How many hours have you wasted explaining why you can't achieve your dreams? How many excuses have you crafted, polished, and presented to the world? Now here's a tougher question. What if you took all that energy, all that time you spend describing your struggles, and invested it in actually solving your problems? What if instead of seeking sympathy, you sought solution? You see, life has this interesting way of testing us. It keeps sending us the same lesson until we learn it. And one of the biggest lessons is, your circumstances will change only when you decide to change them. I've seen it countless times. People waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to notice their potential, waiting for their struggles to be acknowledged. But here's the truth. The perfect moment is now. The person who needs to notice your potential is you. And the only acknowledgement that matters is the one you give yourself when you look in the mirror and say, I'm done waiting. The world is full of people who had every reason to fail but succeeded anyway. People who had every excuse to give up but kept going. People who had every justification to blame others but chose to take responsibility instead. These people didn't succeed because they had fewer struggles. They succeeded because they understood that nobody caring about their struggles was actually their greatest advantage. It meant they had nothing to wait for, no one to depend on, no excuses left. Think about that for a moment. When you truly accept that nobody cares about your struggles, you stop seeking permission to succeed. You stop waiting for someone to validate your dreams. You stop expecting the world to make things easier for you. Instead, you start asking yourself different questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? You ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, who's going to help me? You ask, how can I help myself? Instead of, why don't people understand my struggles? You ask, what am I going to do about my situation? This shift, this fundamental change in perspective, is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who only dream about achieving them. It's what distinguishes those who make history from those who merely read about it. You might be thinking, but my struggles are real. My problems are significant. And you're right, your struggles are real. Your problems are significant. But here's what you need to understand. Acknowledging the reality of your struggles doesn't mean dwelling on them. Understanding your problems doesn't mean being defined by them. The most powerful moment in your life will come when you realize that your struggles, the very things you've been complaining about, are actually your stepping stones to success. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every problem contains within it the seeds of a solution. But you'll never see these opportunities if you're too busy telling everyone about your struggles. You'll never find these solutions if you're waiting for someone to care about your problems. You'll never experience your comeback if you're stuck in the story of your setback. This is why the most successful people in any field share a common trait. They're too busy working on their goals to talk about their struggles. They're too focused on finding solutions to waste time explaining their problems. They're too committed to their vision to be distracted by their excuses. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who've achieved what you want to achieve. Do they spend their time telling everyone about their struggles? No. They spend their time working on their dreams. They invest their energy in creating solutions. They focus their attention on making progress. And that brings me to something even more important. The quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of your excuses. Yes, you heard that right. The better your excuses, the worse your life becomes. The more sophisticated your justifications, the further you drift from your dreams. You know what's fascinating? We live in a world where information is unlimited. Opportunities are abundant and possibilities are endless. Yet so many people are stuck. Not because they don't have access to resources, but because they're married to their excuses. They've fallen in love with their struggles. Let me tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Your struggles have become your identity. Your problems have become your comfort zone. Your excuses have become your safety net. And that's exactly why you're not moving forward. Think about it. How often do you start sentences with, I can't because, or it's hard because, or if only these phrases aren't just words, they're the bars of the prison you've built for yourself. Every time you repeat them, you're reinforcing the walls of your limitations. But here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Your excuses, no matter how valid they seem, are costing you your future. Every time you explain why you can't do something, you're programming your mind to believe it. Every time you justify your lack of progress, you're cementing your position exactly where you are. The most dangerous prison isn't the one with physical walls. It's the one built with excuses, furnished with justifications, and guarded by the fear of taking responsibility. And the cruelest part, you're both the prisoner and the warden. Have you ever noticed how some people face massive challenges, yet never seem to talk about them, while others face minor obstacles and turn them into epic sagas of victimhood? What's the difference? It's not the size of their problems, it's their relationship with their problem. Successful people don't have fewer problems. They just have a different approach to dealing with them. They understand that problems are like weights in a gym. They're not obstacles to progress. They're opportunities for growth. The heavier the weight, the stronger you can become. But here's where most people get it wrong. They wait to feel motivated before taking action. They wait to feel confident before making a move. They wait to feel ready before starting their journey. And that's precisely why they stay stuck. Let me share a secret with you. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't get motivated and then take action. You take action and then motivation follows. You don't build confidence and then face challenges. You face challenges and then confidence grows. This is why waiting to feel ready is the longest wait in the world. It's like waiting for the perfect wave while sitting in your living room. The perfect wave might come, but if you're not in the water, it doesn't matter. Here's another truth that might shake you. Your potential doesn't care about your excuses. Your dreams don't care about your struggles. Your destiny doesn't care about your justifications. The only thing that matters is what you do, not what you say you're going to do. Think about the stories you tell yourself, the narratives you've created about why you can't achieve what you want. Now, ask yourself, are these stories serving you, or are they sabotaging you? Are they moving you forward, or are they keeping you stuck? Most people live their entire lives in the shadow of what could have been, all because they believe their own excuses. They let their temporary circumstances become their permanent identity. They let their momentary struggles become their lifelong story. But what if you decided today that your struggles would no longer be your story? What if you chose to make your dreams bigger than your excuses? What if you made your vision more powerful than your circumstances? You see, every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can either feed your excuses or fuel your dreams. You can either nurture your struggles or nourish your potential. You can either reinforce your limitations or strengthen your possibilities. The quality of your life isn't determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you respond to what happens to you. It's not about the cards you're dealt. It's about how you play them. It's not about the obstacles in your path. It's about the path you choose to take despite the obstacles. Let me ask you something. What would happen if you stopped talking about your struggles for just 1 week? What if instead of explaining why you can't, you started exploring how you could? What if instead of focusing on what's holding you back, you started focusing on what could move you forward? The most successful people I know have one thing in common. They're not interested in explaining their problems. They're interested in solving them. They're not focused on describing their obstacles. They're focused on overcoming them. They're not concerned with justifying their position. They're concerned with improving. And here's something even more profound. The moment you stop caring whether others care about your struggles is the moment you start making real progress. Because when you're no longer seeking validation for your problems, you can finally focus on creating solutions. Think about the energy you spend trying to make others understand your struggles. The time you waste hoping someone will acknowledge your difficulties. The opportunities you miss while waiting for someone to appreciate your challenges. What if you redirected all that energy toward actually solving your problems? Your life will begin to change the moment you realize that nobody's coming to save you. No one's going to remove your obstacles. No one's going to fight your battles. And that's not a tragedy. It's an opportunity. It's your chance to become the hero of your own story. The truth about transformation isn't pretty. It isn't comfortable, and it certainly isn't what most people want to hear. But you're not here for comfort. You're here for growth. You're here for change. You're here because something inside you knows there's more to life than collecting excuses. Let me tell you what really happens when you decide to change your life. First, you'll face resistance, not from the world, but from yourself. Your orbits will fight to survive. Your old mindset will struggle to maintain control. Your old excuses will try to pull you back into their familiar embrace. But that's not the hard part. The hard part is this. The people around you won't understand. They'll question your new choices. They'll doubt your new direction. They'll try to drag you back to who you used to be. Not because they're evil, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your change forces them to look at their own lives, their own choices, their own excuses. This is where most people give up. They let the opinions of others determine their destiny. They let the comfort of familiarity overpower the call of possibility. They choose the pain of staying the same over the pain of growth. But here's what they don't understand. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of staying the same is permanent. The discomfort of change is finite. The discomfort of regret is infinite. Think about the last time you tried to change something in your life. What stopped you? Was it really your circumstances? Was it really your limitations? Or was it the fear of leaving your comfort zone? Fear of facing life without your familiar excuses? You see, your excuses are like old friends. They've been with you for years. They know all your weaknesses. They understand all your fears. They speak your language. They make you feel safe. But they're not your friends. They're your jailers. They're not protecting you. They're limiting you. The most dangerous conversation you'll ever have is the one between you and your excuses. Because your excuses don't just tell you why you can. They tell you who you are. They define your identity. They shape your reality. They determine your future. But here's the beauty of it all. You can change that conversation. You can choose a new identity. You can create a new reality. You can design a new future. The power has always been yours. It's just been buried under layers of excuses, hidden behind walls of justification, masked by veils of self-doubt. So let me ask you something deeper. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't use your current struggles as excuses? What would you pursue if you had to leave your justifications behind? What would you become if you had to drop your story of limitation? The answer to these questions holds the key to your transformation, because your true potential isn't limited by your circumstances. It's limited by your willingness to move beyond your excuses. Think about the stories of great achievement throughout history. The common thread isn't the absence of obstacles. It's the refusal to let obstacles become excuses. It's not the lack of struggles. It's the determination to move forward despite the struggles. Your struggles are real. Your challenges are valid. Your obstacles exist. But they're not your identity unless you choose to make them your identity. They're not your destiny unless you decide to make them your destiny. They're not your future unless you allow them to be your future. The world is filled with people who have every reason to give up but choose to keep going. People who have every excuse to fail but decide to succeed anyway. People who have every justification to stay the same but commit to change. It's between them and others, one simple choice. They decided that their dreams would be bigger than their excuses. They chose to make their vision more powerful than their circumstances. They determined that their potential would matter more than their problems. But let me be clear. This isn't about positioning. This isn't about ignoring reality. This isn't about pretending your struggles don't exist. This is about something much more powerful. It's about taking responsibility for your life regardless of your circumstances. The moment you truly take responsibility is the moment your life begins to change. Not because your problems disappear, but because your relationship with them transforms. Not because your struggles vanish, but because they stop being excuses and start being stepping stones. Think about it this way. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and dreams. Every justification you create is another layer of separation between you and your potential. Every time you explain why you can't, you're building your own prison. But here's the liberating truth. You can tear down that wall. You can break through those layers. You can escape that prison. Not by waiting for someone to rescue you, not by hoping for your circumstances to change, but by choosing to change yourself. The most powerful moment in your life isn't when everything goes right. It's not when all obstacles disappear. It's not when life becomes easy. The most powerful moment is when you decide that your excuses no longer matter more than your dreams. Your past struggles don't determine your future success. Your current circumstances don't dictate your ultimate destiny. Your present limitations don't define your final potential unless you let them, unless you choose to make them your story, unless you decide to let them become your identity. What if today was the day you chose a new story? What if this moment was when you decided to drop your excuses? What if right now was when you committed to making your dreams bigger than your struggles? Here's something that might shock you. Your problems aren't your biggest problem. Your excuses aren't your biggest excuse. Your struggles aren't your biggest struggle. Your biggest problem, your most dangerous excuse, your most limiting struggle is your relationship with comfort. We become a society addicted to comfort. We want comfortable lives, comfortable relationships, comfortable careers. We want change without challenge, growth without pain, success without sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not in the middle of it. Let me tell you what real comfort costs you. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your potential. It costs you your future. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're trading your tomorrow for today. Every time you pick the easy path over the right path, you're exchanging your potential. Think about the goals you set years ago, the dreams you had, the person you wanted to become. Where are those dreams now? Are they still alive, or have they been buried under layers of comfort? Have they been sacrificed on the altar of convenience? You see, comfort is like quicksand. The more you settle into it, the deeper you sink. The more you embrace it, the harder it becomes to escape. The longer you stay in it, the more it becomes your normal. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. They start with big dreams, bold ambitions, bright hopes for the future, but then comfort whispers to them. It tells them to wait. It suggests they're not ready. It convinces them that tomorrow would be better than today. And slowly, imperceptibly, Their dreams start to fade. Their ambitions begin to dim. Their hopes start to wither. But here's what comfort doesn't tell you. Every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Every opportunity you postpone is an opportunity that might never come again. Every dream you delay is a dream that might never be realized. The most expensive real estate in the world isn't in any city or country. It's the graveyard. Because buried there are dreams that were never pursued, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, love that was never expressed, potential that was never realized. All because someone chose comfort over growth, safety over possibility, excuses. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What dreams have you buried in the cemetery of comfort? What potential have you sacrificed on the altar of convenience? What possibilities have you exchanged for the illusion of security? You see, there's a fundamental truth that nobody wants to acknowledge. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. You cannot become the person you're capable of being while remaining the person you're comfortable being. You cannot reach new heights while keeping your feet firmly planted in your comfort zone. The most successful people in any field aren't those who avoid discomfort. They're those who embrace it. They understand that discomfort is the price of growth. Pain is the cost of progress. Struggle is the currency of success. But here's where it gets interesting. The pain of growth, the discomfort of change, the struggle of transformation, these are all temporary. They're like the pain of exercise. It hurts while you're doing it, but the results last far longer than the pain. The discomfort of pushing beyond your limits is temporary, but the expansion of those limits, think about the last time you did something that scared you, something that pushed you beyond your comfort zone. Remember how it felt before you did it? The fear, the anxiety, the doubt. Now remember how it felt after you did it. The pride, the confidence, the growth. That's the paradox of comfort. What feels uncomfortable in the moment leads to lasting comfort through growth. Your comfort zone isn't really about comfort at all. It's about fear. Fear disguised as practicality. Fear masked as common sense. Fear dressed up as wisdom. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're not really choosing comfort. You're choosing fear. But here's the truth about things. It's a compass pointing toward growth. Whatever scares you is usually what you need to do next. Whatever makes you uncomfortable is often what will make you better. Whatever challenges you today is what will change you tomorrow. The most dangerous lie you can tell yourself is that you'll do it tomorrow, that you'll start when you're ready, that you'll take action when conditions are perfect, because tomorrow never comes, ready never arrives. Perfect conditions don't exist. You see, while you're waiting for the perfect moment, life is passing by. While you're preparing to live, life is happening now. While you're planning to take action, opportunities are disappearing. The only moment you can actually use is this one. The only time you can actually change is now. Think about all the reasons you've given yourself for not taking action. All the justifications you've created for staying comfortable. All the excuses you've made for avoiding growth. Now ask yourself, have any of these reasons, justifications, or excuses made your dreams any closer? Have they moved you any nearer to your goals? Have they transformed you into the person you want to become? The answer is obvious. Your excuses haven't served you. Your comfort hasn't helped you. Your fear hasn't protected you. They've only held you back. They've only kept you small. They've only maintained your limitations. But here's the good news. You can change that right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're ready, right now, because the truth is, you don't need to be ready to start. You just need to start to be ready. Every great achievement in history started with someone being not ready, but willing. Every significant transformation began with someone being not prepared, but determined. Every meaningful change started with someone being not confident, but committed. The most powerful force in the universe isn't atomic energy, gravity, or electromagnetic force. It's a decision, a real decision, not a preference, not a wish, not a hope, but a decision that cuts off all other possibility. A decision that burns all bridges back to your old life. A decision that makes your desired future the only acceptable outcome. Most people never make such decisions. They make wishes, they have preferences, they express hopes, but they never truly decide. They never commit with such totality that retreat becomes impossible. They always leave themselves a back door, an escape route, a way back to their comfort zone. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. That's precisely why they remain unchanged. That's exactly why they continue to collect excuses instead of achievements, struggles instead of successes, justifications instead of results. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't knowledge. It isn't resources. It isn't time. It's decision. A real decision changes everything. It changes how you think. It changes what you do. It changes who you become. Every significant change in your life started with a decision. Every meaningful achievement began with a choice. Every substantial transformation initiated with a commitment, not with conditions being perfect, not with you feeling ready, not with everything lined up exactly right. The world is full of educated failures, talented underachievers, and gifted procrastinators. Why? Because they're waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting for someone to care about their struggles. But life doesn't reward waiting. It rewards action. It doesn't acknowledge excuses. It acknowledges results. It doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to decisions. Your potential is like a seed. It contains everything necessary for growth. It has all the coding for success. It holds all the instructions for achievement. But a seed in a packet never grows. A seed in storage a seed in waiting never bears fruit. The seed must be planted. It must be put in dirt. It must face darkness. It must push through soil. It must endure storms. It must withstand wind. That's how it grows. That's how it becomes what it was meant to be. Your potential is no different. It won't grow in the comfort of waiting. It won't develop in the safety of planning. It won't flourish in the security of preparation. It must face challenges. It must endure difficulties. It must push through obstacles. Let me tell you something that might change your life. The universe doesn't reward perfection. It rewards courage. It doesn't acknowledge excuses. It acknowledges effort. It doesn't respond to intention. It responds to action. Every moment you spend explaining why you can't is a moment you could spend figuring out how you can. Every hour you invest in justifying your position is an hour you could invest in improving your position. Every day you dedicate to describing your struggles is a day you could dedicate to overcoming them. The most successful people aren't those who never failed. They're those who never let failure define them. They're not the ones who never faced obstacles. They're the ones who never let obstacles stop. They're not the ones who never had struggles. They're the ones who never let struggles become their story. Your life changes the moment you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? It transforms when you stop saying, I can't, because, and start asking, how can I? It evolves when you stop waiting for others to care about your struggles and start using those struggles as fuel for your success. Every excuse you drop becomes a stepping stone to your dreams. Every justification you release becomes a bridge to your potential. Every struggle you stop explaining becomes energy you can invest in growing. The world doesn't need to hear about your struggles. It needs to see your success. It doesn't need to understand your excuses. It needs to witness your achievements. It doesn't need to acknowledge your limitations. It needs to experience your contributions. Your future is not determined by your past struggles, but by your present decisions. Your destiny is not shaped by your current circumstances, but by your immediate choices. Your potential is not limited by your previous failures, but by your present commitment. The time for waiting is over. The season for excuses has passed. The era of justification has ended. Now is the time for decision. Now is the time for action. Now is the time for transformation. Stop waiting for someone to care about your struggles and start creating success that commands attention. Stop explaining why you can't and start demonstrating what you can. Stop focusing on what's holding you back and start focusing on what can move you forward. Your struggles don't define you unless you let them. Your circumstances don't control you unless you allow them. Your past doesn't determine your future unless you decide it does. The decision is yours. The time is now. The choice is clear. You can either continue collecting excuses or start accumulating achievements. You can either keep explaining your struggles or start creating your success. You can either remain comfortable in your limitations or get uncomfortable with your growth. Remember this, 20 years from now, you won't be defined by the struggles you faced. You'll be defined by how you responded to them. You won't be remembered for the excuses you made. You'll be remembered for the action you took. You won't be measured by the limitations you had. You'll be measured by the limitations you overcame. The world doesn't need your excuses. It needs your excellence. It doesn't need your justifications. It needs your contributions. It doesn't need your struggles. It needs your success. The time for transformation is not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not when you're ready. It's now. This moment, this second. Because if not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not you, then who? Your future is waiting. Your potential is calling. Your destiny is beckoning. The only question is, what are you going to do about it? The answer to that question will determine everything. Not your past, not your struggles, not your circumstances, but your decision right here, right now. Make it count.